Hi guys, it's Ben Heath from Lead Guru, and in this video, I'm going to talk about 3 metrics that you need to fix if your Facebook ad campaigns are failing. I'm going to show you in this video how to diagnose where the issue may be in your Facebook ad campaigns and how to go about fixing that issue once you've found it. Before I get into that, I just want to very quickly ask you to smash a like on this video, click that like button, that'd be much appreciated and really help me out. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're new and haven't done so already. Okay, so assume you're running a Facebook or Instagram ad campaign and either it's not performing at all or it's not performing as well as you think it can, okay? At some point, all Facebook advertisers are going to run into that problem and you're going to want to know how to fix it. And it's very easy to sort of just look at the data and think, what on earth do I do here? There's so many different options. Do I try changing my audience? Do I try changing my ad? Do I try changing my campaign objective, my product, my offer? All those sorts of things. So there's 3 things that I will always take a look at if a Facebook ad campaign is not working, to try and diagnose where in that process, where in the sales funnel are things falling down. And then once you work that out, of course, you can go about fixing it in a much more laser targeted way than if you just have a scattergun approach of trying to change everything. You can often change a whole load, the results don't get any better, or they're different, but you've no idea why, and that doesn't really benefit anyone. So what I've done is I'm in one of our Facebook ad accounts and I put some filters on so you can only see a couple of campaigns. I wanted to really highlight these 2 because I think they're great examples. So these are both campaigns that were run a little while ago now in order to generate leads, so opt-ins for a couple of different lead magnets. One was a case study and the other one was a Facebook ad template that we ran. So similar campaigns but different offers, and that's really key. So if a Facebook ad campaign isn't working, one of the first things I'll take a look at is CPM. Where are we? Oh, here we go. Okay. CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions. Oh, by the way, if you want to be able to see the exact same data I've got here, up on this section here, you've got various options where you can select like basically presets of data. So Facebook will default you onto performance. You can also look at delivery, check out things like your frequency metric and all that sort of stuff. I've just gone with performance and clicks. I have a whole load of like, custom ones, and I'd recommend you do that. But I wanted to put something here that you could use as well. So we've got performance and clicks here, which shows you all this data, which is what I'm going to show you here. So the first thing I'm going to take a look at is CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions. How expensive is that? So basically, how much are you paying to reach, well, not reach 1,000 people. There's quite a clear distinction here. That would be, your reach is your 1,000 people. This is 1,000 impressions. So if on average someone sees your ad twice within those 1,000 impressions, well, then you've actually reached 500 people. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, CPMs for this top one are £16.53 and CPMs for this bottom one are £12.71. Different markets will have massively varying CPMs. If you run a campaign in, a country like India, you are going to pay far, far less in terms of CPMs than if you run a campaign somewhere like California, which is probably about as expensive as it gets in terms of CPMs. Okay, if you're and then within that, so not just the locations, but also the groups of people that you're targeting, some are much more expensive. So typically you'll see lower costs if you're in much broader, more generalized industries like health and fitness and things like that. If you're in anything sort of B2B, anything financy, insurance related, marketing-y related, you're going to see higher CPM. So you need to work out, before I go on here, you need to work out within your industry, what's a good benchmark of a CPM, what should you expect, what's reasonable, and you will get to know that as you run campaigns in that industry. You'll get to see an average of, a $30 CPM is about average, it seems to be for my campaigns across the board, or an $8 CPM is about average for our campaigns across the board. It really does vary massively, so I can't give you a benchmark here. But against your benchmark, are you seeing particularly high CPMs? Because that could obviously be one of the reasons why your campaign is not working. If you're used to seeing CPMs of $20 and you come in here on one of your campaigns and you've got CPMs of $45 and your campaign's not performing very well, well, absolutely that could be the reason why. So that's one of the reasons why we'll come in and check out CPMs. So the cost of your CPMs is determined by a number of factors, but one of the biggest one is who you're targeting, okay? Perhaps you're just targeting a more expensive audience to reach in that campaign, or obviously you could do this at the ad set level as well, than in other campaigns or other ad sets. And perhaps focusing on some of those less expensive audiences will produce better results. Now, obviously you have to corroborate that with a better cost per conversion. So if you're seeing really high CPMs in one of your campaigns or one of your ad sets, but your cost per conversion with that group is great, well then that's absolutely fine. Pay the higher CPMs, it'll be worth it. If this is a scenario where your campaign is not working, as in it's not producing the sort of cost per purchase or the cost per lead that you want to produce, that's when we come in and look at this stuff. I just want to be clear about that. Okay, so let's say your CPMs are significantly higher, 50% higher than it usually is. Well, maybe that audience is too expensive for you to reach. Okay, perhaps you need to focus on less expensive audiences. I said perhaps because you have to corroborate that with your conversion data. One great way of lowering CPMs is to increase the size of your audience. Are you targeting too small an audience? Is it too specific? Are Facebook charging you a premium because you're saying, look, I only want to reach those people, and you're competing against a lot of other advertisers? So perhaps, going outside that group, you can still include them, but adding in other age ranges, broadening out user larger interest groups, adding in other countries, other geographical locations. Perhaps you go with both genders as opposed to just one. All that sort of stuff can have a big impact on your audience size, and in general, larger audience sizes are going to reduce your CPM. So that's one of the first things we will take a look at is CPMs. Okay, who could we target differently? Could we target some less expensive audiences? Could we open up the audiences? Are there things that may be making certain locations more expensive? Like, for example, the US election, which is something that we're experiencing right now that's definitely making Facebook advertising more expensive in the US. So perhaps if you're an international business, you could focus more on abroad where you're going to see lower CPMs for the time being. Okay, so that's the first one. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense as I'm talking about. The first one is your CPMs. The next one we're going to look at is your cost per click. And we're going to look at cost per click with the third one in sort of tandem with that. Now, in general, if your Facebook ad campaign is producing a low cost per click, in my mind, your Facebook ads are doing their job. Okay? They are getting someone to click on your ad, come through to your website, your landing page, wherever they're going, and that is basically the job of the Facebook ad, isn't it? I mean, yes, of course, it's going to help with the conversion process and all that stuff, but the main job is to get them to take the next step. If you're seeing, for example, lots of clicks and a low cost per click, but your cost per conversion is still too high, they're not converting very well, well, perhaps it's the landing page or the website that's the issue. The ad's doing its job, but perhaps there's not enough congruency between the ad and the landing page, or perhaps the landing page just needs to be redesigned and needs to be made more clear. I was trying to buy something from a website the other day. It was so slow that I literally gave up and bought a load of stuff from their competitor. And that people will do that. It was just I was so frustrated. It failed once to check out. I went, right, I can buy this somewhere else or go somewhere else. These sorts of things happen. So if you're getting a low cost per click and lots of clicks, then in my mind, the Facebook ad campaign is doing the job and you need to focus on the next stage in the sales process. Vice versa, if you're getting a high cost per click, perhaps there's something about the Facebook ad campaign that you need to change, improve, and focus on. So if we take this example, we've got these two campaigns, right? So we've got one that's got a cost per click of £4.63, which is really very high. That's very expensive. We're advertising this predominantly in the UK. That's much more expensive than I'd like to be. For a lead magnet campaign like this, we're bearing in mind we're advertising something for free. if you're seeing a cost per click of £4.63, which by the way is almost $6, but you're advertising that in the most expensive industries possible, like insurance or finance, something like that, well, maybe that'll work for you. But when we're advertising a free lead magnet, we're not even asking for money here, we would want a much lower cost per click. And that's what we've seen in the second campaign here, just under £1, 98p. That's absolutely perfectly reasonable. That's a pretty good cost per click for our industry. Again, you have to work this out similar to CPMs for your industry. If you're in health and fitness, an average cost per click might be something like 50 cents. I said in insurance, your average cost per click might be $5. So it is gonna vary. The ranges are probably going to be more standard in cost per click than they are in CPMs. So I know, for example, that this being under £1 is fantastic. For me, advertising this sort of free thing, £1.50 would probably be a benchmark that I would look at for my business personally. So this is way above it at £4.63, and that's nicely below at 98p. Now, yes, there's a difference in CPM costs. So you think that's how much we're paying to get the 1,000 impressions. So that will attribute some of the difference in terms of the difference in cost that comes that cost per click. Because if you think about it, if your click-through rate was equal, but one audience was more expensive to reach than the other, you're going to pay more in terms of cost per click for the more expensive audience because it's going to translate. But that's what, 30%, 20 to 30% difference there. We're seeing a much, much larger difference in cost per click, which is backed up by this CTR link click metric here. So that's a click-through rate, the percentage of people that click on an ad versus click on a link on an ad versus people that see it. Here you can see 0.36%, which is really quite low. I always want above 1% for that ad, and then a 1.3%, which is really quite nice. And not amazing, but very, very strong for this campaign. I think these are two great examples to show you because of the difference between the two. So we can see that far fewer people, a much lower percentage of people that see ads in this campaign are actually clicking. Okay, what can that be? Well, that could obviously be the ad itself. Perhaps we need to rewrite the headline. Perhaps we need to make the offer more clear in the primary text. Perhaps we need a whole new creative. Maybe we need a new ad format. The images are boring. It's not grabbing people's attention. We need something that's a bit more punchy. Perhaps we need to go with video or try a slideshow or a carousel instead of just a single image. That could be the ad, and that's a big area of focus. If we see this sort of data, in my mind, a £16 CPM is fairly reasonable, but that's way higher than I want it to be. So if I was going through the process of fixing this top campaign, we're going to leave CPMs for now. Audience is pretty good, but we're definitely going to address the ad itself because that clearly needs some work at a £4.63 cost per link click. The other thing to think about when you have a high cost per link click is what's your offer? Are people as interested in your offer? And we know that people weren't as interested in this case study as they were in the Facebook ad template. So part of the reason for the difference between these two campaigns is it's going to be the offer itself. People are more interested in the second one. Another reason why this one's much lower, as you can see, it says there, it's got Buddy on the end. That's my dog. I actually used my little Springer. He was a puppy at the time. Little Springer Spaniel puppy to record the video. What a great video for grabbing people's attention. That will have helped produce a lower cost per click. So that cost per click, in my mind, for my benchmarks in my industry, is really quite good. And that tells me that this ad has done a great job, which doesn't surprise me because we put a lot of effort into it. We recorded a video with the dog in there. It took like 1,000 takes to get it right, as you can imagine. You may have seen that video because I've talked about it and used it in the past. But yeah, so that performed really quite well. Two things with high cost per link click, just to reiterate. Is your ad creative good enough? Can you improve that ad itself? And then, of course, there's the offer. Is the offer really resonating? Could you improve it? Are people that interested? Et cetera, et cetera. This one looks absolutely fine to me. No worries with that. But this one definitely needs some work. Okay, and that's backed up by the CTR. One thing I'll quickly mention, by the way, guys, is when you look at this data, you need to look at cost per link click. You need to look at CTR and link clicks. Don't look at all clicks. So you can see here, link clicks is 746, but all clicks is over 8,000. This is such a misleading metric. That'll include any sort of click on your ad, whether people click the see more button, anything along those lines. And look, if you actually look at all clicks for CTR, that one does 3.87, which is more than the 3.44%, even though CTR there is 0.36 and 1.3. So don't look at clicks CTR, all CPC. Look at the CPC there. It's telling me all CPC is 43p, whereas actually a link click to get someone to click through our website was £4.63. So they're very, very different metrics. Don't get sort of lured into this stuff. Make sure you're looking at the cost per link click. That's very, very important. So those are the first two metrics, looking at CPMs, looking at cost per link click. So with this one here, we've worked out, with both of these, the CPMs are fine. With this one here, we've worked out that it's probably the ad and or the offer that's the issue here, with a cost per link click of £4.63, and then therefore that's what we can address. This one we're very happy with. The ad and the offer are clearly doing very well at a cost per link click of 98 pence. Then we will look at the next stage in the sales funnel. So those are kind of on Facebook things. We've got CPMs for the targeting, we've got cost per link click for the ad, but you have to remember, and this obviously applies if you're sending people to a website, which the vast majority of people are doing, or a landing page, is that how good that website, how good that landing page is, has a massive impact on the performance of your Facebook ad campaigns. It has to be set up well, it has to be high quality, it has to look right, it has to have the things on it that convince people to buy. So we need to look at the conversion rate between link clicks and then whatever it is you're optimizing for. So you can see this one here, down here, has 2,178 clicks. If I scroll over to the left, we can see that it has generated 1,081 leads. Okay, so what's that? That's almost exactly a 50% conversion rate from link clicks to leads, which on a lead magnet page, you would normally, so this is a lead magnet where someone's coming through to the website, they're just giving their name, email address in exchange for a free thing. That's what a lead magnet landing page is, like an opt-in page. A 50% conversion rate is absolutely fantastic. I would say average is probably somewhere in the 20 to 30% range for that sort of thing. So 50% conversion rate is amazing. Depending on what you're offering, the conversion rate there is going to be very, very different. So if you're trying to get an e-commerce product sold, average is probably in the 2 to 5% range. If you take a look, let's say you've got a low cost per click, like with this one, we've got a low cost per click of, let's say 98p, but then we're getting a 5% conversion rate on a lead magnet opt-in. Well, that's going to massively affect the cost per lead. Or let's say it's an e-commerce business and you're getting a 0.5% conversion rate. The difference between that and a 2.5% conversion rate is obviously 5 times as many purchases with the exact same cost on Facebook, the exact same expense, but just 1/5 of the purchases. So the difference is absolutely enormous. And this is where we take a look at this. So you have to benchmark it against what you're selling. E-commerce businesses, you're usually looking at 2 to 5%. Where do you sit in that? Calculate how many clicks you generated versus how many purchases you generated and work out the percentage there. For a service-based business, it depends what the service is. The range is going to massively vary. If you're trying to get people to inquire, you could have conversion rates above 10% if it's something that people can quite easily sign up for, like a free consultation. If you are going straight in with custom designed luxury yachts, well, you're going to have a much, much lower conversion rate. But I would want to see with people inquiring, 10% would usually be very good in a service-based business, but I would want to be above 3-4%, ideally above 5%, but it's not always possible, not always necessary to have a profitable campaign. But that would be rough guidelines that I would give you for a service-based business. If you're sending people to your website, for them to inquire, to get a free consultation, free quote, something along those lines, and start along that sales process. So hopefully those 3 metrics are how we sort of think about the 3 biggest components of a Facebook ad campaign generating great results. You've got your targeting, you've got your ad, and then you've got your landing page. And the way we work that out, that we diagnose which one's the issue, is the CPMs is the targeting issue, the cost per link click is the ad or offer issue, and then the conversion rate between link clicks and conversions is our landing page or sales page or website issue, if that's particularly low. And even, you don't have to just do this, by the way, guys, if your campaign's not performing at all. If your campaign's performing kind of well, but you think you can improve it, go in and go through the metrics I just described and take a look and see, oh, okay, we've got an issue here. Our ad is clearly doing amazingly well. We're getting really low cost per link click. Our CPMs are fantastic, so we've clearly got the right target audience. Oh, but our conversion rate could be better. Still profitable, conversion rate could be better. Why don't we go about see if we can improve that? So if that video's been useful, before you go, a couple of things I want to quickly mention. The first is a free webinar I've created called 3 Killer Facebook Ad Strategies to Double or More Your Revenue. And this webinar breaks down 3 different sales funnels that we use all the time, including advertising lead magnets. And it shows you which one you should be using depending on your business type. So I think it's very, very important. You need the right strategy. There's no debating that. You will not see success if you don't have the right strategy when it comes to running Facebook ad campaigns. So check it out, completely free. Links in the video description. Other thing I want to mention is my Facebook ads mastermind groups. There's a Facebook group that has 53,000 plus members, amazing community, one of the biggest communities of Facebook advertisers in the world, full of people just like you that want to get better results with Facebook ads, that are, they're posting in the group all the time, they're answering questions, getting them answered. Fantastic place to be able to connect with other people that can help you out and you can help them out and all that sort of stuff. I do free live trainings in there every week. So if that sounds like something you want to be part of, make sure you go ahead and join. Completely free, links in the video description. And then finally, as a company, my company Lead Guru is a Facebook advertising agency, and we create, manage and optimize Facebook ad campaigns for clients. I get a lot of questions about this, like, do you run campaigns for clients? And the answer is yes. It's actually the main part of our business, is what we do. So we're only able to work with companies that have a budget of at least $3,000 per month. But if you meet that criteria, or you're about to meet that criteria, why don't you book a call with me? Book a call with me or one of my team members. Just click on the link in the video description. There's be one right at the bottom. You go through to our website and you'll be able to book a slot directly into our calendar. And basically, they're very informal. We can just find out a bit about your business. You can find out about our services. We can see if we're a good fit, and then look to go from there. We've got tremendous amount of experience in every industry you can imagine. We've got dozens of client campaigns live, maybe even hundreds of client campaigns live at any one time. spending millions and millions of dollars on the platform. And that's where a lot of my content comes from. It's from the stuff we do for our clients, and I've been able to learn from the tests and things we're running, and the results we've been able to achieve, and share that with you guys on my YouTube channel. So yeah, so if you're interested, you want better results, you're wanting to scale, we're very used to helping with that and can always certainly help you out. Go ahead and book that free call. If this video is useful, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like. Comment below to let me know. Comment below if you've got any questions. I do my best to answer as many questions as I can. And of course, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new and haven't done so already. Thanks a lot, guys. Best of luck with your Facebook ad campaigns, guys. Go ahead and do some diagnosis, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks, bye.